what's up? How are you doing? Trust you're doing well. You're doing great, and everything is doing amazingly well with you. All right, so this is week 3. Yay! I'm so excited about week 3 because in this particular week, we're talking about the essence of you. Oh my God. Talking about the essence of you, we're talking about the nature of the soul, and we're talking most especially about the essence of you. And the beautiful thing I love about this essence of you, I remember in the year 2020, during the lockdown, I met a particular young lady online. I hope I'm not talking too fast for you. I met this particular young lady. Her name is YBB Yetunde. Okay, I've forgotten the BB for. Okay, we shall call her YBB. We call her Coach YBB. And the way Coach YBB was talking about herself, it really inspired me. Like I was like, Ma, what do you know? How do you know the things that you know? And she was just talking about the essence of you, and she promised us a podcast about it. And she did the podcast. It was a 5 days podcast. And what do I want to do? You already know what I want to do. I want to recommend the podcast for you. The podcast changed my life. The podcast opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I'm going to be recommending the podcast to you one per day for the whole week. So as you are reading this challenge, I also want you to, take out time to listen to the podcast. You can listen to the podcast when you are going to work. You can listen to the podcast when you are cooking. You can listen to the podcast. But just try as much as possible to listen to the podcast. Also, write down things that stood out for you. Write down things that you are learning. I love it when you guys share with me the things you are learning. They are really, really helping me. When I read things from you guys' point of view, and I'm like, hey, babe, add this to something you learned this week. It's always so mind blowing for me. So, yeah. So this is week 3. We're looking at the essence of you. And then in today's podcast, we'll be talking about the first thing in the week 3, which is becoming. We're talking about becoming. And my God, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from becoming. Some of the things I learned, he said, my soul is that aspect of my whole being that correlates, integrates, and involves everything going on in the various dimensions of me. Things like appetites, ambitions, thoughts, and motivations. Like, hello. I love that he described the soul. It helped me to understand, okay, we'll be talking about soul. Let me understand the importance and the power of my soul. It says that my soul makes me me. My soul makes me me. Like, my soul is what makes me me. I know that you're about to say, Toluwakemi, I'm a spirit that has a soul that lives in a body. I know. Calm down. Calm your body down. We will get there. We will get there. We are here to get that. So of us are here together. We'll get there. All right. So let's dive right into it. It was talking about my soul, and it says that my soul is what makes me me, and my soul is who I am. So whenever people actually ask questions like, who are you? Why are you? Why are you? People ask us, who are you? There was something in the book that really answered this question for me. It says, our soul isn't something we have. It is who we are. So when people ask you, who are you? They're actually asking you to describe your soul. Oh my God. Like, think about it. Think about it. If you're telling me that my soul is what makes me me, and my soul is who I am. So whenever people actually ask outside that, who are you? They're actually asking me to describe my soul. I went for this public speaking gig few days ago. It was on a Monday. I went for the public speaking gig, and in that place, the host asked me a question. She said, who is Toluwakemi? And when the host asked me that question, I guess maybe she was expecting me to say things like, I'm a this, I'm a that. No, I said, when she said, who is Toluwakemi? I said, Toluwakemi is like a beautiful image that you go into a museum to build. And when you see her, when your eyes set upon her, you are smitten by the beauty you build, and the only option that you have is you want to experience the depth, the length. And this babe was just looking at me like, Kila Bere, so I can so imagine, and that is the way I see myself. That's the way I see. That is the beauty I see, and that is the way I see myself. That's the way I describe myself. And she was like, I didn't expect that. And I was just like, yeah, I know you don't expect that, but that is it. Because when you ask me who I am, I am not my job. I am not, no, I am my soul. And it is what constitutes in my soul that I embody, because it is through that person that I am able to be everything that I can be. Okay, let me break it down. Even myself, I can see that what I'm saying. Let me break it down. All right, so let's dive right into it a little bit. It says, "My soul is something. Our soul isn't something we have. It is who we are." It says, "My spirit, on the other hand, is what the Lord intends to rule over it and my body." So, in order to answer the question who I am, we will have to actually cultivate a healthy soul living. So, we are our soul lives in a body. Do you understand? Our soul lives in a body, and it is now our spirit. See, we are spirits, but every spirit has a soul. So imagine if you keep feeding your spirit and you do not feed your soul. Kole balance. That is not balanced diet. Do you get? It's not balanced diet. So for you to have a balanced diet, you need to have an healthy soul, and an healthy spirit, an healthy soul that lives in a magnificent, beautiful body. Do you get? Yeah, I had to put that body. You know, I had to say it like that body. So see, I'm a clown. Let's just leave it at that. You know, God. And another thing I learned from the book, it says, God desires that our soul prospers. God desires that our soul prospers. You know, God will need to exercise. God will need us to exercise the act of discipline. The art of discipline. If you are to master the art if you are to master the art of living it authentically, you have to master the art of discipline. You know, I think this is one of the things I had to tell myself this year, that I want to be more of myself. So I needed to understand what discipline entails. And it's been a journey living a disciplined life. I'm not going to lie to you. One of the things I realized is that everyone is afraid of living a disciplined life. Everyone is afraid of living a disciplined life. And then I found out that everyone doing well and doing great in life is actually living a disciplined life. So not living a disciplined life is actually a disservice to yourself. All right, so and then in the book he answered the question, how do you exercise a disciplined life in God? He wrote it. He said, a disciplined life in God is about what we choose today. A disciplined life with God is about what we choose today. A disciplined life with God will produce the fruits of the Spirit. You know, what are the fruits of the Spirit? It says joy, it says love. So a disciplined life will produce love. A disciplined life will produce joy. A disciplined life will produce peace. Do you get? So, like, this is so mind-blowing for me. I'm not going to lie, you know. They say, how do you discipline your soul? It's very simple. He said it there. The best way to discipline your soul is through practice with respect to your thoughts. Is by practicing a disciplined thought. And he says that choose to think a loving thought instead of an unloving one. Whenever an unloving thought comes to you, choose to think a loving thought. Keep at it until loving thoughts becomes a habit. Imagine whenever you want to think, imagine whenever something comes to your mind and it feels like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Imagine immediately you correct it with a loving thought. I don't know how to do this. Okay, I will learn how to do this. I think there's something wrong with me. I will learn what to, like intention. And this just tells me something, like you really cannot do anything without living intentionally. Like to live like God, you have to live an intentional life. It is, I feel like God equals to intentionality. Like to be God indeed, you have to live an intentional, even because God lives an intentional life. All right, so I think I'm owing you a video about how to live intentionally. I think I will have to do that video. Yeah, I'm owing you that video. I promise you that video. We have to do that video. All right, so that is it for today. That is it for day 11. Okay, so how was it? I hope things stood out for you. I want to hear from you. What are the things that stood out for you? Drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel. share the link with somebody, with a friend. Like the video. It's very, very important that you like the video. Actually, please like the video. And till I come your way next time, my name is the Global Tolu Akemi. Thank you so much for listening. All right, so bye bye. Thank you.